And by the way, good luck with Georgia if they're motivated. Holy cow. I was questioning Georgia up to this point in the season because let's face it, they hadn't looked like themselves. I stand by what I said. Obviously, I watched the games, I watched the tape, but I knew what I was seeing up front. It was a team that was not the same up front. But we were reminded on Saturday that when Georgia wants to go to fifth gear, they still got it. They still have that gear. They get a ranked team in their building in a night game, and it was just like all systems go. And you're reminded what it looks like. And you're like, oh, well, that's beautiful. It's like, it reminds me a little bit of Usain Bolt throughout his career, who would just kind of toy with runners at times in the prelims and everything. And you really wanted to know. And then you would get to a final, whether it was a world championship final or an Olympic final. And then you would see like the start. And he wasn't a great starter, remember? Because he had the long legs. And then in the middle of the race, it was just like, oh, there he goes. That's what Georgia just did on Saturday to a pretty good Kentucky team, a team that could run the ball. They were decent at the line of scrimmage. I thought it was a bad matchup for Georgia because of the way Georgia had played coming into the game, in particular at the line of scrimmage. And they reminded us all, it's the middle of the race. They were Usain Bolt. It's like, oh, you're still the fastest runner on the track. I get it. So Georgia is still Georgia. And now we are reminded that a similar thing happened a year ago. They sleptwalked through that Missouri game, won, everybody questioned them, and then all of a sudden it was just like boom, boom, boom. They just ran through the rest of the season. It was over. And are we about to see a run like that again from Georgia? I like what I see from Carson Beck. He throws really accurately. When he's in rhythm, he's a really good player. He's a really good player. We've seen him now at times in one possession games, whether it was at home or on the road in league play at Auburn, have to make throws, like had to have it moments as a quarterback, which are huge moments. And he made those moments happen, namely with a great player in Brock Bowers. But this is a team that still has it. They're still Usain Bolt. They're still the two-time defending national champion. And this is why for the better part of the year, I kept saying like, nope, I'm not going to move them off of number one. And then dummy, I do it. I move them to number three. Maybe I was the motivation. I'm not sure. Maybe most of us were the motivation. When they got questioned, it was go time. It was their building. It was a ranked opponent. It's in the league, and it was on. And we're reminded why Georgia is Georgia. In a lot of ways, their toughest opponent this year is themselves. It is complacency, fighting complacency. Kirby talks about it all the time. And I think we saw that for a majority of the first half of the season. And then Saturday, we were reminded, I was reminded exactly what they could do, because the middle of that race was like watching Usain Bolt pull away from the 8 other best sprinters in the world. And you're like, is he that much better than them? And then you're like, yeah, he is, because he's the greatest of all time. They're trying to do something that really has never been done before. Don't give me this whole first time since Minnesota. It was the 30s. This is a different sport, and it's much more difficult now. No one has done what they're trying to do. And on Saturday, they began that first pull away during this 100-yard dash. This first pull away, slow start. There's people beating them. And it's like, wait a second. Are they getting old? Is this going to really happen this year? Are they going to repeat for the third time? And then all of a sudden, they get Kentucky in there. They lock the gates behind them. And it was like, watch this. Good on you, Georgia. Good on you. So good luck with both of those teams. Michigan, Georgia separating themselves out just a little bit.